Welcome to 2022 and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Business, organized by JCI European Senate. I'm Philippe Carrera.
And my name is Robert van Waert.
So, welcoming today Anneli Ohvril. She is Executive Director of Let's Do It World. And Let's Do It World was founded in Estonia in 2008. Today, it's one of the largest environmental networks with active leaders and teams tackling the waste problem around the world. The biggest project, World Cleanup Day, was engaged by more than 60 million people from 191 countries. So wow. I don't know how many missed that. To one-day cleanup action during the last 4 years. Anneli is also a social change, communication, and marketing expert, having a great experience, especially in a global and social campaigns, creating a positive impact. She's also a trainer and mentor, initiator of numerous social movements. So, Anneli, welcome. And can you give us a little bit of perspective how you entered this part of social change? How it was like you wake up one day and, oh, I want to make some change in the world?
You know, everything happened for a reason, and sometimes really by accident. The change is always in my heart. So I'm definitely how to say, I'm reacting for problems. If I see the problem in the world, then I really immediately want to solve them. Because especially if I see the solution, and I want to also to tackle these problems. And I believe that I've started with social campaigns already 20 years back. I was lucky. I was working
when
for
you
them.
were 5 years.
For 5 years? No, for 20 years.
No, when you were five. When you were 5
oh,
years
yeah,
old.
absolutely, of course. Thank you for a remark. That was really important. Yes, of course. I was 5 years old. Then I started to change the world.
This is really Philippe. Okay, a serious answer, and you get these kind of reactions. Yeah, go on, Anneli. I'm really curious.
Robert is the serious guy here, yeah. So he will be handling the serious part of this talk.
Yeah. It wasn't very convincing, by the way. But yeah, back that time, I already started with different social campaigns. I was organizing different campaigns for children who lost their parents. I also worked for the road safety campaigns for a long time. That was really in my heart because, you know, it's not very often you will make the campaigns which basically save the lives. And then environment, I grew up in a farm, and then environment is always in my heart. So I can see that that people have to live in harmony with the environment. I also see that at the moment, humanity is definitely lost the connection with the environment, and this is also the problem and the root of the problems, different problems at the moment in the world, and not only the physical ones. I'm not just talking about the climate change and loss of biodiversity, loss of also the waste pollution, but I'm also talking about our spiritual health. And it's also
nowadays very complicated with the pandemic.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, people, I'm very convinced, and I'm believing it, that if people are living in nature, they are healthy. And if they have touch with nature, they are healthy. And if you get sick, you always find answers and the cure in nature. And maybe that's why I grew up in a farm, and I knew that because I experienced that. And that's why I believe that the pandemic is really had a negative side, because people were just sitting at homes and they didn't have the connection with the nature.
Anneli, so 20 years ago, you already started in 2008 in Estonia, where you're from, the Let's Do It campaign, or Let's Do It World, or the cleanup. So what actually started, and but for the people who are listening and who are viewing this little program, can you tell us a little bit about the organization, Let's Do It World? What kind of organization is it? And what is your role?
We started as a movement. The one part was from JCI. The second group was from Skype, if you remember such kind of organization. And the third one was Estonian Nature Fund. So basically green people, technology people, and the entrepreneurs get together. And I think that was the winning cocktail to start change in society. And in the beginning, we didn't think that we are creating the global environmental organization. Of course not. Cleaning up all Estonia in one day was a really big challenge already. Yeah. And we were just doing it as a project. So I joined the project, and I thought that in 2 months I'm free person again after that crazy project. But here I am, still in the same moment.
And it is a worldwide movement / organization with volunteers, or how does
mostly, yes. As I said, it started as a movement, and it was like a step by step. It's growing and growing. So first it was in Estonia, and then we made a video and about this project, and this video inspired a lot of people around the world who started to ask how they can clean up their country. And they also asked permission from us that can they do that also in their country, which was really funny at the moment that India or Brazil asking permission if they can clean up their country, but of course I understand that they ask for to use that model what we created in Estonia, and then. The first international series of cleanups took place in 2012. Then 96 countries took part. But at that time, we believed that it's not possible to organize one-day cleanup all around the globe. No. Because in some places there is snow, the second place there is too hot, then it's rainy, then it's Ramadan's, school holidays, just name it. And we thought that it's not possible. And at that time, we asked countries to choose the best date where we can do the cleanup, and we did. And those countries who did, they really had an impact in their countries, and that was really amazing. And of course, after 2012, we wanted to stop it because it was meant just one year project. But countries said that you can't stop because we just started. And then, 2019, we finally founded the environmental organization. Now we are not just a movement, but we are also organization. And this is the largest environmental organization in the world at the moment. Yeah. And that was also quite funny to establish the organization, which already from the beginning is the largest environmental organization in the world. We have teams in 164 countries who are active teams. We are not just organizing the World Cleanup Day, but they are organizing different kinds of environmental programs and really creating the change in society. World Cleanup Day is also just a tool. Because we are not so naive that we believe that we can clean up the world with just one day cleanup. It's not possible. Because just I give you an example. We made a math. We have 21 million volunteers who are showing up on one day cleanup. That was 2019. There was 21 million people who participated. And but if you consider how much waste ends up in the nature in 1 year, then it means that each of these volunteers, 21 million volunteers, we have to pick up at least 50 tons of waste on one day, which is not possible.
Per person.
50 tons, and this shows how big is the problem. And I'm talking only about this waste which is end up this year in nature. I'm not talking about this waste which is already in nature. That's why the World Cleanup Days is more the communication campaign. It's a trigger to start the change, because it brings people together, brings different sectors together. And we also witnessed during the World Cleanup Day that even communities who never believed that they can work together, they work together during the World Cleanup Day and tackling the waste problem. Because waste is, this is everywhere.
Yeah.
And we all have the same problem.
By the way, Anneli, it is interesting that you tackle the problem of waste, but in terms of your organization, is there any programs that are, let's say, preventing waste? I give you an example. So nowadays I see a lot of young people that are very active in ecology and in environmental causes, but are the same that are buying fast fashion, for instance, that is creating a crazy amount of waste. Do you also have projects in that area? Because I see that most people don't realize that their behavior is creating the waste that then somebody will have to pick it up.
Yeah, that's really a great question. Of course, we have different kind of problems. We have also educational program in Africa. 15 countries are participating, and we have the composting project in Latin America. Also 13 countries are participating. Different kinds of initiatives in Asia and also in Europe about circular economy and so on and so on. But again, actually, we are not talking only about the projects. We are actually talking about the systemic change. And waste is the symptom of this, the big failure what we have. It's kind of like the same thing as person has a temperature. Basically, we can clean it up, but the waste comes back. Also with the temperature, that you can basically take a medicine, temperatures goes down, but it doesn't remove the disease. And we have to change the whole system. At the moment, we are in linear economy, which means that we are taking the resources, we are doing the products, then we use them, and then we are throw it away. And even child can understand that there is no unlimited space where to take these resources and unlimited place where to throw it. So it means that we have to go to the circular economy. And circular economy is the closest concept to the nature. The nature functioning the same way. In nature, as you see, there is no waste, because everything which grows eventually dies, and it comes there is a source for another life.
Yeah.
But just only humans are able to create the products which actually, linger in the environment for thousands of years. And by the way, we are calling it innovation very often. For me, is it innovation? Huh?
Yeah.
So we are talking about the systemic change, and we can't just change the society project by project. And that's why it's also the World Cleanup Day is important, that to bring people together, because we have to change. Everybody has to change, and the companies they have to design the waste out of production lines and out of all the life cycle of products. The government have to create the legislation that support the circular economy, and we as a consumer, we can vote for with money. We have to buy these products which actually are based on circular economy. Yeah. That means that all these resources, they're always in a circle.
So you have, Anneli, you have, as an organization, especially now, you have an immensely amount of possibilities where to start and what to do, etc. what I find interesting, and I'm curious about it, is what are the challenges for your organization? You as a part of the leadership, as a leader, as part of the leadership of that organization, what are the biggest challenges for the organization itself? So because there are so many opportunities, I'm really curious about when we look at how this is called, let's talk business. How is, and this is not a business like you're producing something, but your organization. What are the biggest challenges, and how do you tackle them within the organization?
We have many challenges, of course, because we are NGOs and we are tackling the really global and basically unsolved problem. But if you ask me the challenges, I would name as the first is the unwillingness to cooperate. Cooperation, I see this is the most important thing what we have to do. But you know, in linear economy, there is always competition. And even more, if we started working on the global level, and especially in environmental sector, we recognize that even there is a competition. Our core value is a cooperation, and we wanted to work together with all the environmental organizations to put our strengths together and tackle the problems together. But the organization sees us as a competitor, which was really, really funny in the beginning. But now we understand, of course, we are fighting for the volunteers, we are fighting for the attention, for the money and so on. But in the end, we have the same cause.
Same goal, same ambition, cleaning
exactly.
up not only cleaning up the world, but diminishing the amount of waste, creation of waste, being circular, and still there is, that's not naive, but there is competition, like it is a business.
Yeah. It's like a business, yeah. Because, you know, everyone are working for their brand, even it's environmental brands. And we want attention, we want resources, we want that all the partners, they support them. And we are definitely working for tackling that problem and really bringing different organizations, different sectors and communities together. And
so
I see this is the one solution for the tackling the problems.
No, I understand, but that's really interesting, because you have you said 164 countries, you have teams. So in 164 different cultures, different languages.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really interesting because. Yeah, that's really interesting. Of course, we have different cultures, different ways how we used to work, and but we learn every day, and just to keep all the network together and really empower the leaders in different countries. This is of course challenging, but but we are. We have the same dream, we have the same vision. And this is really brings us together and holds us together. I could say that if people have the common dream, it's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And then we don't recognize anymore the borders and skin color or the different worldviews or religions or whatever what usually keeping us apart.
Yeah.
By the way, you probably have some crazy, funny stories about this kind of interaction. You were saying a moment ago that you were contacted by countries like Brazil. Can we clean it? And you were like, okay, you can clean. Of course, you don't need a permission to clean. But do you have any kind of interesting, funny memories of this kind of interactions across countries?
Oh my God, the Let's Do It is full of different stories. Which one to pick up?
Pick one.
Yeah. I remember one story from Egypt. Then my colleague went there to talk about waste and World Cleanup Day. And it was funny because one guy approached her after the speech and says that in the beginning he understood that we are, eliminating governments, corrupted governments. It's the cleanup day.
Oh,
And then in the end he understood that this is not about governments; it's about waste. So
well, some
really,
people
really funny.
might consider their governments or the governments of others like waste already. So
I don't know. Really.
That interpretation could be possible.
That was, I think, the funniest thing. But the leaders who are in different countries, we have leaders also in the countries who are in war zones, or they have really big conflicts. And if we advise usually leaders that do cooperation with the government, because in that way you can make a change in society, then in some countries we just ask governments that please don't interrupt us, don't put us in the jail, let us to clean.
In 191 countries, you have several in a war situation. So might I guess that you have a World Cleanup Day in Yemen, in Syria, in places like this?
Yeah. For example, the team in Syria, if they wanted to join World Cleanup Day, and my colleague asked, so why you are joining? You have a war there. That was a couple of years ago, and we replied that this is the only way how we can live a normal life, because we want actually normal life, and this is the way how we can gain the normal life, and also to start build up the society, to just start with the cleanups. Because cleanups, if you think, it's kind of like taking the ownership over the country. So if you clean up the country, you start to feel the ownership, and this is really powerful. For example, in Estonia, I just by accidentally I met one ex-minister of Estonia, and we talked about different things, and of course we end up talking about waste, as has happened to me very often. And then he said that yes, and he participated in the first cleanup in Estonia, which was 2008. And he said, Anneli, what I'm doing, I'm visiting this place every year. And if he sees that this place is again full of trash, he clean it up again. Wow. And that was really wow to me, because that was not the land which he owns. It was just random place, because we gave the places where people had to go. It was just a random place in the forest, and he goes every year to that place and clean it up. It means that if you really clean it up, then it's also taking the ownership, and it's also making really strong relationship with your country. Yeah. And I also advise once the guys in Germany who were struggling with the refugees problem, that ask refugees to come to World Cleanup Day, because this makes them to feel as at home, and they don't anymore to litter or make disturbance, because then they feel that they are at home. Just think about it, right?
Wow.
There is one thing that I don't know if you have been working on that also, is that for instance, what I'm about to say, I don't know the reality in Estonia, but what I'm about to say, it's very strange in a Portuguese view. If you go to a Japanese school, the kids are the ones that clean the school. So they have moments to clean the school. Over here in Portugal, that would be like, oh, but we need people to clean the school. The students are there to study, not to clean the school. But actually, it goes to that point of ownership. So basically, the kids don't throw things out because they know that at the end they will have to clean it. So do you have any kind of projects like that, of the ownership of spaces, like education projects?
Yeah. For example, many countries, first we are cleaning up the places, and then we also planting the trees on that places, basically making this place beautiful, and people don't litter anymore. This is also a psychological effect that if there is a litter, people are littering more. If there is graffiti, there is more litter, more graffiti, and more crimes as well. So if you clean it up and if you keep it in that way, then the places comes more calm, more friendly, more peaceful also. So it's, again, we are not just talking about waste. We are talking about the community and how to really build up the community. So, for example, yes, planting the trees, it's a one way, and also some countries really painting, for example, and putting the chairs and flowers and different kind of things, which also help to keep these places clean.
Wow. I always ask this question, so also to you, because we have a common history, or at least a part of the common history, and that's JCI, right?
Yes.
And not about
we haven't been married, right?
No, but our JCI, we all three share JCI history, and that's also why we came up, and why we're organizing these kind of nice talks with all kinds of people around Europe. And the question I always ask is, what did you learn during that period, which you're now using in your organization, in your business, in your professional life?
You know, a lot. I can say 100% that if I haven't been in JCI, I wouldn't start the Let's Do It, definitely. Because I gained the self-confidence, I gained the network, I gained also the knowledge, or the experience how to create the big projects. We organized 2006 the European conference in Tallinn. That was for me the first international project what I did, and where I participated. And I hope, Philip, that you can say that that was really big success.
Yes,
I really enjoyed that. And
one of my best conferences ever.
Thank you. I was back then the head of marketing and communication team, and I learned a lot during this project, which I also used in Let's Do It. Yeah. And actually the same group of people who organized the conference, we went to do Let's Do It in Estonia, the first cleanup in Estonia.
2008 cleanup. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So 2 years later, we did even bigger campaign.
Yeah.
In Estonia, because we already trust each other. We already knew each other, so it was easy to us to start. Let's Do It.
So that is clearly what is called the butterfly effect. One conference, an organization like JCI, and suddenly goes all worldwide. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Anneli, we reach our time. I want to thank you very much for being here with us for this absolutely interesting conversation. I have a small announcement. Because after this video will be available on YouTube, but also it will be available the audio in Spotify.
My God.
We have it now also in Spotify.
Wow.
So
you're getting famous.
Yes, you are famous, and we are getting famous thanks to you, Anneli. So, and Anneli, thank you very much. And I will. There is a possibility that I will be in Estonia in the next months. There is negotiations going on. So maybe we will meet in person at some
That would
point.
be perfect.
Yeah.
I really miss to meet the people in person. So
So
give me a message and
I will tell you something if I go to Estonia for sure. I'm crossing fingers, you know. So
me too.
Anneli, once again, thank you very much. Robert, again, it's always a pleasure to be with you, having this kind of nice conversations, and where actually we always learn. So this is one of the reasons why we do it, is because it's also a learning experience for us, because it is always a learning experience when we talk with interesting people.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you very much. And this was the first Let's Talk Business of 2022. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.